this video, what we are going to say is that what I will do if I want to start learning again all the things for the data analysis or data science. I'll tell you what path I'll choose and what are the mistakes I did when I started. So you won't repeat the same mistake and it will be very easy journey for you if you want to learn all the tools which you need for a beginner data science roles or beginner data analyst roles. So the screen which you see right now. So here I have written two words, learn it and use it. Now, what these two means, again, whenever you have started learning any programming language or any sort of skill, what I'll suggest you to do is that first you learn that skill. I don't want you to learn the complete skill at once. What I want is that you learn that skill and then use it. Let's say you started learning any tool, let's say started learning Python. Learn it and then start working on a project by using Python. When you're done with that project, in that project you'll face tons of issue. And I know that like personally when I started things, I faced a lots of issue. But the thing is, whenever you face the issue, come back again, learn things, whatever needs for that problem, like whatever you need for that problem, again go back to the project, solve it. If you face an issue, come back, learn it, and then again go back and solve it. Now, the thing why it will help you is that you are learning and at the same point of time you are working on things. It is going to benefit you in both of the ways. This is about learning it and using it. The skills which you need. So there are a few skills which you need if you want to start your career. So the skills are technical skill, analytical skill, soft skills. So we'll talk about all these skills in a very brief. In the first part, here you can see that we're talking about the technical skill first. So the technical skill I've divided into four parts: Excel, SQL, any BI tool, or any programming language. What will you choose for that? In technical skill, for in the Excel, you can go ahead with the Microsoft Excel. For the SQL part, I'll suggest you to go with MySQL. Why? Because MySQL is available for Mac as well as for Windows. Personally, when I switched from a Windows laptop to a Mac laptop, at that point of time, I was facing a lots of issue. I even installed a few of the apps through which I can run Windows and then I can use Microsoft SQL Server in that, but I was not able to find a proper solution. So I started using MySQL. So like suggest you that if you want to start learning SQL, start off with MySQL. In the BI part, you can select any one of these two. You can either select Tableau or Power BI. But what I'll suggest you to go is go with Power BI. Why? So the first thing is Power BI is free of cost. And on the other hand, Tableau, if you're using it, Tableau will give you 14 days free trial. Again, if you're a student, you can go ahead with Tableau because on this student ID, Tableau will give you 1 year free trial. They'll give you a key which will be available for a year. So you can go ahead download that. But again, if you don't have any ID, if you don't have any student ID because you're not a student, in that case, go ahead with the Power BI part. Power BI and Tableau are almost the same, and if you know any of these tools, you can learn the other tool in less than a week or so. Now, in the programming language, you can either choose Python or R, but personally, what I'll suggest you is go with Python. Why? Because R is a statistical language. You cannot do general purpose programming in R, but you can do that in Python. So let's say if you have started working on Python, if I ask you to write a code for a calculator, you can do it. If I ask you to check that a number is palindrome or not, or find the HCF, or find the greatest number, do all these things, you can do it through Python, but you cannot do all these things using R. So what I'll suggest you is go through Python rather than going through R. But again, if you are interested in any of these, you can go through it and then you can learn it. After this, here I'm showing what are the skills a beginner data analyst should have. So if you want to start your career, the most asked skill is Excel, then it's SQL, then it's Tableau, and then it's Python. Again, in this part over here, I'll show you in our next slide, or in our next slide, I'll show you what should be the proper roadmap for this. But again, Excel is must, then you should know SQL. I've already told you about the SQL. Then you should know Tableau or Power BI. Again, you can choose any one of these. But according to industry standards, people use Tableau most of the time. So again, it's the same. So don't worry between Tableau and Power BI. Learn anyone, and then you can download Tableau. Let's say you learn Power BI. Then after that, you can download Tableau. And when you get 14 days free trial, in that time, you can learn the complete Tableau. You can see all the options. You can create some couple of projects in those 14 days, and then you're good to go. And then you need Python again. As I suggested you that people are leaning toward Python after 2014, 2015. Why? Because Python have beautiful libraries through which you can do the data analysis very easily. Now, when you're done with all these things, the roadmap for this is, so here there are two rows. This is your row one, this is your row two. In this part, when you see, you have Excel and SQL. If you have very less time or you want to just start learning and then start working on the project or start finding the job, what I'll suggest you is learn any one of these. Why I suggested you Excel first? Because see, again, if you're working with Excel, you will get to know the data better. You will do all types of data analysis in Excel, and then you will move to the SQL where you can learn how to work with collection of data. But at this point of time, when you have to choose, or when you have very less time to learn things and you want to just start a project, start working on the project, in that case, what you can do is just learn any one of these. Now, let's say you have learned Excel. After learning Excel, you can either go with Power BI or Python. When you're learning SQL, I'll highly suggest you to go with Power BI. Why? Because you'll learn few more new things, and what are those things are that how you can connect a database to your NDBI tool. So if you are going through all these things, I want you. So again, if you're learning SQL, go with Power BI. If you're learning Excel, you can go with either Power BI or Python. That's totally depend upon you. So up till now, we have talked about the technical skill. We have talked about the roadmap. What are the things you should need? What are the things industry want right now? But there are few more things which are unsaid in this field, and that's the analytical skill and the communication skill. So we'll first talk about the analytical skill. In this part, if you see, so problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and research skills, these three are well versed by its name only. You can understand it very properly just by its name. So now we'll talk about the mathematical skill first, because mathematical skill are a must know when you are entering in the field of data analysis. So what are those skills? In maths, there are some couple of things with you should know discrete mathematics, you should know probability and statistics, you should know algebra, you should know calculus and all these things. But personally, when I started learning or when I started working in the data science field in the data analyst roles, what I found out that while working in the firms, you won't be using all these things at once. So what I'll suggest you in the beginning is that you should go with probability, statistics, and algebra. When you are done with all these things, you got your first job as a data analyst. Then in that case, you can learn all these things, all discrete mathematics and calculus in the way. So let's say you're working on things, you need it, you learn it, you use it. Because see, I've already told you, this field is completely on learning and using basis. So if you have to learn things every day, you have to use those things every day. If you're not learning things or if you're not using things, you'll be dinosaur in, let's say, next 2 to 5 years. So you should keep learning things and then you should keep using those things. Now, when we are done with our maths and all, the few more things which you need is domain knowledge, technical skill, business skill, and a BI knowledge. So again, we have talked about the technical skill, we have talked about the Power BI and all. We'll talk about the domain knowledge first. So people ask me tons of time that, hey, I'm working in sales and I want to switch to data science field or data analyst job. I want to switch to data analyst job. What can I do? So what I'll highly suggest you is in whatever field you're working right now, they will have some sort of data with you. Do one thing, try to analyze that data. Try to make your analysis on the same data. If you're working in the financial field, let's say if you're working in the credit card uh, department in a bank, analyze that data. When you will be analyzing that data, you'll be getting tons of insight from that data. And when you'll be getting tons of insight, you can use those insights to guide your teammates that what you want to do next or what they should do next. Again, there are multiple roles which you can switch inter-department only. Let's say you are working on the credit card part, okay, and you are working in sales. What you can do is you can interchange. Let's say you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you can interchange your department from that sales part to the data analysis part. If you are working very good. Now we'll talk about the soft skill. So soft skill is a must. Why soft skill is a must? Because if you are a data analyst, you'll be working with data. When you'll be working with data, you'll be finding useful insight from that data. Now, when you are finding the useful insight from the data, you should have the soft skill. You should know how to communicate to the team to inter team and to all the other teams so that you can let them know what are your insights. So you should have a very good communication skill. You should have, again, you should be a team worker. You should be good with teams. You should have work ethics. And when it comes to creativity, let's say I'm giving you a data and I want you to analyze that data. Now it's totally up to you how good you are analyzing it. If you're analyzing it very properly in a very good way, and also let's say, as you know that other people in your company who will be going through this charts, this graph, this visualization, this insight, they don't have expertise in this field. So what you can do is you can also create a PPT. You can also create a document, a supporting document for that, so that whenever they go through it, okay, they know what they're going through, and at the same point of time, they can take the help of supporting document if they're not understanding anything. So again, creativity, it will come by time. You have to think creative, you have to think out of the box so that you can help your organization. When I comprise all those things, so the end for result is that you should have proper communication. So again, communication is the part of soft skill only, but I highlighted that because you need it. So you need these three things, the things which you mentioned, the soft skills, you need that, but communication is must. In technical skills, you need all those things, but again, Power BI and SQL is must. So I wrote Power BI over here because if you know how to work with data, you can do a proper visualization using Power BI. So this was all about this video. And in future, what I am doing is I am creating a playlist in which I will be guiding you, I will be teaching you regarding all the topics which you need to become or to get your first data science role. And in this part, what we'll be doing is that I will be covering complete Excel tutorials, Power BI tutorials, SQL tutorials, Python tutorials, and all these things. I have already started a playlist in my channel. You can go through that and then you can learn Excel from that. I will be sharing you few more videos on Excel part, and we'll be going through it at once. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe it. Like this video if you think that this video was informative for you, and I'll see you on the next video.